We continue with our coverage of the Masters here on Sports Talk. We heard from Don Williams earlier from Augusta National. Let's go back down I-20 to Augusta National. It's a pleasure to have back with us international golf writer from up in New York, but educated here in South Carolina as he went to the University of South Carolina. MJ Ward with us once again to add more coverage to the Masters, the first of the majors here on Sports Talk. MJ, great to have you with us. How are you?
Phil, it's always a pleasure.
How you feeling, sir?
I'm just getting over a cold, so forgive my raspy voice. I sound
You'll fit
like
right in.
I sound like the sergeant in Chicago PD, probably. So,
A little Hank Voigt action. I love it. You'll fit right in, MJ. Phil and I have been battling colds for months.
We all got something, brother.
So hey, I'm going to tell you guys, don't mess with me. Otherwise, I'll have to make a curtain call appearance, all right?
All right, let me update the leaderboard. DeChambeau, 7 under. He's in 65. Scheffler, 66. Willett, he's in 68, top of the leaderboard. And then you got Nikolai Højgaard at 4 under. He's finishing up. He's on 15. Max Homa, he's on 12. He's at 4 under. Ryan Fox and Cam Davis, they are in at 3 under. Corey Connors, Byung-Hun An, Joaquin Niemann, Will Zalatoris, they are all in at 2 under. Patrick Reed is on the course at 2 under, along with Matthew Pavon, Terrell Hatton, Brian Harmon, Ludwig Aberg. These are all at 2 under. Tommy Fleetwood, 2 under. So that's the top of the leaderboard. Lucas Glover, 1 under 71. He is in for the day. Fitzpatrick, 1 under 71. McIlroy, 1 under 71. Hovland, he's at 71. Tiger Woods, still hanging around below par, 1 under, as he's at 12, maybe a little bit beyond that. But that's what we'll hold up right there. With Tiger at -1. So, MJ, what do you think of the day? What do you think of that leaderboard? And what should we expect tomorrow?
All I will tell you is there's a famous description when Secretariat won the Triple Crown, and people thought the horse was crazy for getting way out in front at Belmont, figuring that there wouldn't be any gas left. Scotty Scheffler is the equivalent of that. I will tell you this, Phil. I've been to many Masters, and when you see guys in full flight form, when they're playing just superb golf, I mean, Tiger Woods is a great example of that. They don't leave many openings. This was another bogey-free round by Scotty Scheffler. And just to give you an idea of the impact of this, okay? I'm not Mr. Stat guy, but I want to give you a stat. He leads the tour in greens and regulation. He averages 14 of them for every 18 holes. So you do the math on that. Multiply that times 4. That means he has 56 birdie opportunities. Even if he misses half of them, let's just throw half out, he's got 28 others to start to play with. The man is not making mistakes. And when you don't make mistakes, people have to come after you. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. One of the advantages of finishing today, you don't have to get up early and play more than 18 holes. Probably Tiger will be in that case, as a number of other players. But what's impressive about Scotty, what he did at Bay Hill, he took it to another level at the Players' Championship, the final round 64 there. He's putting up numbers that are at the impressive level. And, you know, there's a famous line from the race at Belmont when they mentioned about Secretariat. He is like a thundering machine, and that is what Scheffler is. And, yeah, a lot of things can go on for 54 more holes. This is not over. I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying, hey, just give the guy the green jacket. But he is playing at a high different level from what he's ever been. And he's at the peak of his game. And, you know, clearly there's other players. A lot can happen. anybody who's, say, at 2-3 under can certainly make a move. But right now, anybody betting against Scheffler, you're betting at your own risk because he does not make openings. And Tiger was like that. In other words, to beat him, you've got to score. And that puts a lot of pressure on people because you know he's not coming back. So you got to go forward. A lot of players can't do that. And, it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. He'll have the benefit of having seen the play. Now, one of the advantages I want to mention real quick, the golf course was playing really firm until we had the thunderstorms come through. So it was really an optimum day to score. Not really much wind really to speak of. That's going to change for the next 3 days. Sunny conditions. You're going to get greens drying out. It's going to get harder to score, not easier to score. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of adjustments that the players have to make.
Bryson DeChambeau, he's the guy at the top of the leaderboard, 7 under 65. We were talking to Don Williams earlier about, missing DeChambeau on the PGA Tour, missing that power and just the way he turns and hits the ball. And we only get to see it now. I mean, you can watch live golf if you want to, but who really does? Practically nobody. And then he shows up at a major and he starts tearing it up. Today he had a great round with only one bogey, and he'll have the benefit of is it the benefit? Will it be a benefit for them tomorrow, weather-wise and condition-wise, to play later in the day, or will they face more difficult conditions later in the day?
Well, again, that goes back to how fast the golf course will dry out. What a lot of people don't realize about Bryson, the man only has 4 top 10s in all the majors he's played. This is his 8th Masters. His best finish came in his first Masters when he was low amateur. Now, you would think that given all of that introduction that you gave him, Phil, okay, the big tee shots, he's a really good putter as well. I don't want to minimize that. Excuse me. But when you look at his performance at Augusta, minus what you saw today, he really has never really been in the picture. His best finish is a tie for 21st. It'll be interesting to see, what Bryson does. Bryson DeChambeau is in many ways sort of like the Aaron Judge of golf. I mean, it's either going to be 460 feet into the bleachers or he could be walking back to the dugout with a bat on his shoulder. You just don't know if there's any in-between to take him around the golf course. Clearly, the talent is there. I mean, the man shot 58 on a golf course. Granted, it was a live event, but 58 is still 58. His potential, when he won the U.S. Open at Wingfoot back in 2020, it looked to really be on the upside. He has really kind of never really hit the stride, and some of it became really about the side issues. I mean, he competed in the World Long Drive. A lot of it became the sideshow. Now he has an opportunity this week to show that he can perform. But there's a big fella that's in his way. And it'll be interesting to see, should they be paired together, how each of them responds to what the other person is doing. We're not there yet for that yet, but it would be interesting to see if that would be the case.
Couple more minutes with MJ Ward from Augusta. And take care of that voice. I'm sure you being an international traveler, you know a variety of fluids and liquids that you can take to help you deal with the voice.
Well, send them to me, Phil. I'm all ears. So.
Well, a Pabst Blue Ribbon always worked well for me, so don't know if that works well for you Yankees. But anyway, Tiger. I mean, watched him. I was able to watch his first 5 or 6 holes. Seemed to be walking pretty well. I think the question mark is, regardless of how he finishes today, how he will hold up physically tomorrow, having to play some extra holes. I know he's probably thinking, let's get in as many holes as we can, and I imagine we're getting pretty close to the end there in Augusta today. He's probably thinking, the more holes I can get in today, the fewer I have to play tomorrow. What about the physical toll on him tomorrow and his ability to stay around? I'm sure he'd like to stay around par, at least par, a little bit under par, to give himself a chance to make some noise on the weekend.
Well, I mean, Phil, I hate to rain on everybody's parade, but having Tiger show up is really half the game. I mean, just to have him on site. The other issue is you hit on it. I mean, can he handle what goes on? A lot of people don't realize this. When Tiger Woods has a tee time, you can subtract another 4 hours before that for all of the prep time that it takes for him to get really where he wants to be, so when he's on the tee, he's ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I have about Tiger, Phil, I don't believe he's got the gearbox any longer to go low. And what does low mean? Well, low is better than 3 under par, okay? Somewhere in that range. He played a good round today. I mean, didn't really open the door, had some opportunities, could not take advantage of some, but he did not play poorly. The thing about it is, this is elite level major championship play. When we had Tiger win the last Masters, hard to believe. That was 5 years ago. He's 48. So the realities begin to catch up with where you're at. His swing is totally different than he was in his days when he was in his prime, courtesy of all the surgeries that he's gone through. If he makes the cut, it'll be a record for the most consecutive cuts made, and I think that would be a bonus. To see him walk up Sunday and finish 72 holes would be a tremendous achievement.
Well, he just finished through 12, and he's still 1 under, tied for 17th, so we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. You take care of that voice, get a good night's sleep, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night. Look forward to having you and George and whoever else we might have on board, Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps, talking some great golf tomorrow night, 7:30.
Phil,
Thanks,
just
MJ.
one quick shout-out. Watching the Gamecocks win the national championship as an alum, I can't say any more than what it was. Simply fantastic stuff. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow night.
Thank you. MJ Ward from Augusta National. MJ, I call him an international writer of great reputation because he writes for international publications. Golf World, I think, is one in particular that he writes for. I read a lot of his stuff, and he does a great job. We appreciate him being part of what we do.
And his voice, I know he was self-deprecating a little bit, but not nearly as bad as what Hank Voigt deals with on Chicago PD. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Jason Begay, I think is how he pronounces his last name, an actor who had some sort of surgery that damaged his vocal cords.
Ooh.
And he sounds hoarse all the time. So, yeah, MJ's not quite that bad, and I'm grateful.
I've never watched that show, so I really don't know
It's
what
a
you're talking
great
about.
show. It's a great show.
Yeah.
One of my favorite.